Last week on Eyewitness, we brought you video clips of a flooded area in Alagbole, Ogun State, precisely Ogunfowa Street and environs. The clip was sent in by a resident of the area who blamed the contractor that handled the Ajunwa-Akute Road for not considering over 500 communities before channeling the water into these affected communities. Well, today we'll bring you our findings after our visit to the area. Also, in our previous editions, we've had lots of complaints on falling poles, crazy bills, metering system, and even situation of structures along power line. We engaged the corporate communications manager of Ikeja Electricity Distribution Company for answers to some of our pending issues. These and more on Eyewitness Report on Channels TV. I'm Chris Elems. Our first port of call is Ogunfowa Street, Alagbole, where the rainy season has become a source of worries for the people due to the menace of flooding. Come along on this trip with me.
We have to wait.
It's 4 days after the last rainfall, which swept off all the efforts put in by the community to make life bearable for them. But the drainage does not suggest so. Water flows endlessly, and this is what they are faced with on a daily basis, now even worsened by the rainy season. Ordinarily, the size of the drainage on the street constructed by the residents themselves should be enough to handle flood from within the community. But that is not the case.
When the volume of water coming here, it keeps on increasing. We increased it. This is the second layer. Then the water again overflows the gutter wall. Then we put the third one. And the third one, the water keeps on overflowing. And then this is the fourth one we are putting now.
That's even the fifth. This is the fifth.
This
is
the
fifth one. This is the five coach.
Water is still overflowing.
The flood is said to be as a result of a diversion at White House bus stop, carried out by the engineer who constructed the Akute-Ajunwa Road. Some members of the community, led by Eyewitness, give us a background to their present challenge.
We have done several letters to the state government on the plight that we are having in this community concerning the flood which was diverted into this community by the Ogun State government. This area that you are looking at, the flood was not as this. In fact, there was no flood some 10, 15 years ago. But about 9 years or thereabout, during the administration of the former governor in Ogun State, they constructed a particular road between Ajunwa and Akute. They did very tiny drainages and then look for what you could call the natural gradients, where the natural gradient where there was a little step, and then they just left the water and diverted the water, did a culvert. But what we are saying in essence is that we know as a law that in this country, when you want to do whether minor or major construction project, there should have been, an EIA, an environmental impact assessment done, whether by government or individual. In fact, government is enforcing this. So we wonder why government would do such a road without doing an environmental impact assessment to know what is going to be the effect of that water or the flood diverted into that community. And since then, we have not rested in this community. You have communities of over 500 communities being troubled by this water. And we have done letters to the former government, to the current government, even the recent letter we did, which also has an acknowledgement of the governor's office. All other ones you can see here. This is the one received at the governor's office, received on the 10th of July 2015. You can see it was received by the Permanent Secretary Ministry of Environment, received by the Permanent Secretary Ministry of Works, received by the Permanent Secretary Community Development and Cooperatives. And before this letter, we made a reference to so many other letters we have written. Right since 2006, we have been doing a letter to the government to say, please save our souls. You can see we are even concreting. We have to resort to concreting of the road itself. When we just want to make our road passable. But even with the concreting, you can see all the areas that we have concreted. When the flood comes, it washes away all these things.
One fear they also express is the possibility of electrocution occurring, as this transformer is said to be usually overtaken by flood whenever it rains.
Like you have seen the transformer. Unfortunately, the flood will just enter the transformer, the transformer whatever, and then fill it up. This will lead to electrocution. And if there is anything in this community, like I've said, if there's anything we demand from God, we deserve from government, I think we deserve commendation. We deserve even an award. If we show you how much we have spent on this community, it will amaze you. Of course, you won't be amazed because you can see all these things, buying cement, buying rubbles, it's not kobo thing.
While the menace of the flood has denied them sleep, they've not folded their arms as they continue to invest into developing the area.
Because of the flood, community had to come together to say, what can we do? Because when it rains at night, people won't even know where to go. Sometimes you are moving, you don't know you are moving on the drainage. So people will not know. We have to also go out of our way to do street light. You can see street light. We are continually supporting the government, and we don't know why the government haven't written more than 10 letters.
And the drainage, you also.
And our drainage, you can see our drainages. The drainages that we have on this community are even bigger than what the government did on the major highway. On both sides of our roads, everywhere, we have these drainages that is expected to take the normal flow of the water. But because of the volume of the flood diverted into this place, no amount of size, you can see how big this drainage is. Now, look at the water in the drainage. You can hear as if we are by the seaside. The last time it rained here was about 4 days ago, and you can still see the volume.
As we journey from Ogunfowa to the source of this problem, telltale signs of the havoc done by the flood are very visible. Some of the houses are deserted, fences fallen, and foundations getting eroded. While residents are said to be moving out in droves, house owners brace up for more floods, raising fences by up to 5 coaches. When the flooding increased over time, some of the communities affected expanded the drainage so as to cope with the volume of water. Yet the flood has made a mincemeat of their efforts. At the construction of the Akuti Ajuwon Road, apparently it brought delight to those around the access. But what the least expected is the effect of this drainage left here by the contractor.
This is exactly the source of the problem of the source. When this road was constructed by the Ogun State government around 2005, the contractor that handled the construction actually did a wishy-washy job. They were supposed to do a drainage that will carry the water from wherever sources, Ashore, Ajuwon, Oyeyemi and all that, and drain it to the Iju River. But what he did was he looked for the natural gradient and decided to step down the water here. You can see the water coming from here, come back here, drain here. The other one from there, here also. From the other end, everything just came here. When they came here, they just left the water. You can see what he did. They don't even care what the source, the path the water is going to take.
Before more lives are lost and property destroyed, they make this appeal to the Ogun State government.
You have seen the walls blown down, but pushed down. You have seen the water that is rushing here, not when even it is raining. And whether it's raining or not for 2-3 weeks, that's how it will be running. Now you have seen this place where we are speaking now. It is a very, very delicate place. If it continues like that, things will get bad. We know that the government is an action government. And we thank you because Channels Television has been doing a lot of work, which I've been seeing. We want the governor who has been doing it elsewhere to come and do it also in our own place. What he has done in other places, let him come and do it in our own area.
If the people affected could wish this monster away, they would have done so. They've put in the most they could to combat the plague brought upon them by poor engineering thought. It's now left for the state government to act fast before their hopes are finally washed away.